Hello everybody, it's Jeanette Vilda. So this is another junk journal, and this was kind of just for fun. No design team or anything like that. It was just that I saw this particular kit and just thought it was gorgeous. Don't even know, it's not for anybody, just because it was a really beautiful kit and I wanted to make a book with it. So it's called The Little Prince, and obviously it's based off of the book, The Little Prince. And it's from Yana's Crafting. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yana. And I have never read The Little Prince. I know the story. I know what it's about. I've just never read it. But you know, what's funny is once I finished the book, I was like, okay, I have to read this book. I know it's a children's book, but hey, So rather than a book inspiring me to make a journal, I've made a journal and it's inspired me to read a book. So, yeah. So this one, again, I've gone just a little differently. Rather than inking with, distressing with the walnut stain or the vintage photo, I went with black. Kind of some of the inspiration came within this book from watching the video that she did, Yana's Crafting, I'm saying she, for making her Little Prince journal. So, not completely the same, but I did kind of take some inspiration from that. So one of the things was, I'm assuming it was black ink. It definitely looks like black ink. So it's a hardback. It's just made from some pieces of chipboard. And I did some sewing throughout, and it's just with black thread. And then here on the cover, I've taken the little figure here and put it on some cardstock just to raise it up a bit, and so that I could ink around it and really emphasize it. And then on the spine is just taken from one of the design papers within the kit and then stitched onto some cardstock. And then again, one of the design papers and stitched onto some cardstock. And then you can see underneath, I used this really great kind of tie-dye sari ribbon for closure. On the front and back inside cover, just some black cardstock, and then just chose some elements that I had left over from, I think by the time I was done, there's an envelope in here that has some of the elements that were left over, but then there were only two little elements that I didn't use within the book. So pretty much the entire kit I've used, and it is a very big kit, so highly recommend it. And it's just gorgeous. She has a style that looks very much like quilting to me. So there's a whole page with just phrases from the book, a bunch of little these little squares, rectangles with images, a lot of envelopes, all kinds of stuff. So, and the design papers were done such that I folded them sort of differently in order to really capture the parts of the page that I wanted to make sure were seen well. Because otherwise I would have had to, by folding them, I would have had to put them all in the middle of a signature, and didn't want to have that many signatures. So that's why some of them are kind of off center. And throughout, I added a bunch of stamps from my collection. If you want to know where the stamps come from, let me know. Off my head, I don't remember, and there's quite a few stamp sets that I use throughout. And I did use a bunch of scrapbook paper as well. So I know the story, The Little Prince, is, I believe, a pilot. So I added a bunch of airplane stamps, and then also it has a very galaxy star feel, again, haven't read the book, I'm sorry. So I have some scrapbook paper that have galaxy and stars and stuff that I thought went really nicely with the designer paper. So here is scrapbook paper with one of the great little quotes. And then I used a bunch of just leftover scraps that I had to make a bunch of my own journal cards and to add throughout. So, like I said, the kit has a bunch of these great little squares that you can use to decorate, or you can use them as like a journal card, and then a really nice set of tags. And I added the eyelet. It's just made from one of the designer papers, and I just used a punch. Oh, and then I also did quite a bit of stenciling and ink blending. So also there's a whole page of what looks like little postage stamps. And I don't have a really good way of cutting those out, so I just left them square and so that you could really see that it was a postage stamp. And I did a bunch of, since a lot of the images kind of had a, circular theme to it, I made a bunch of circles too. So some fat, and then, like I said, there's a bunch of just really great shaped little cards that you can use in all kinds of ways. So like I said, I did a lot of ink blending on some pages as well as some stenciling. So here's some stenciling. And this is, I think, is a Post-it. And I just glued it down to the page. And again, this is all from I didn't cut these from the designer papers. It's all within the ephemera kit. So this is a really old music book. And then I also used some DDR children's books that I thought kind of went with the theme, had the same color palette. And again, I had a lot of fun doing some ink blending throughout this. And there's also a bunch of circles within the ephemera kit and a bunch of little pockets. This is actually a banner. Instead of going from the top down, I went from the bottom up. Why not, right? I also had some paper that I had been playing with stencils, sprays, and so it was just play paper, trying out different stencils, see how they looked, and trying out some shimmer paints that I had. And so I don't get rid of, my play papers. And so throughout, including this one here, you'll see a bunch of them punched out and used throughout because the color just went perfectly. So some of the journal cards from the kit and another tag from the kit. And it's going to be hard to put those in upside down. And some scrapbook paper, one of the postage stamps, and I did a lot of fun little stitching throughout the book. And that's all ink blending. And then the kit has a couple of these really tall tags. And here I just added a little ribbon, and it's all glued down to another piece of paper. And then I just made a little journal card with some scrapbook paper and one of the quotes. And he's French, so it was, I guess, originally written in French. So I had to add a little fleur-de-lis. And I don't remember, I think this is just an extra strip taken from one of the design papers. And then another of the circles. And like I said, I had this kind of astronomy, spacey scrapbook paper. So I used that quite a bit throughout the book. One of the tags from the kit. Really pretty papers. And I also have a bunch of washi tape, that has like stars. And I love anything astronomy, so got quite a bit of those. And here's for one of the journal cards and a tag. I just love these little tiny pockets. And this is German, but it's from 1940, an old letter that I have in my stash. And I just loved the blue writing went with the blue of the book, so I thought it was really, just went nicely. Even though it's German. This is actually one of the journal cards, and I just put it in as a pocket. 4 pieces of scrap paper, some washi tape, and a couple of pieces from the ephemera, and one of the little tags. And washi tape. Another one of the punches from my play paper, and a little one of the stamps. I love these little postage stamps. Some washi tape. This is an old French school book, so I thought that was pretty cute to put in. And they were cute. Had nothing to do with the prints, but I thought they were adorable. Isn't that pretty? Love the colors in this book. And this is a stamp from my stash. A couple of the little banners. That French school book. Another little stamp. And just a piece of paper for one of the postage stamps. And this is from the ephemera kit. And just goes nicely up in there. And then another scrapbook paper with some stuff to make a kind of a tag. Some more fleur-de-lis stamping on the top there. And you see that's from 1940. That's the letter. There are several envelopes in the kit, and I only kept 2 of them as envelopes. The rest of them, I kind of snipped off the edges, and the flaps that would fold for the envelope I used in much the same way as this little guy. So I used them as little tags. And then the middle part, I either used like this, like a journal card, or it's pockets. So I thought they just made really great little cards and pockets. So that's from that. And this was from a Smash book, actually. One of those little Smash books. And it was a whole page of calendar spots. So I just took one of the spots. Little stamp. Yep. And again, since he's a pilot and traveling, I used some stencils that I have. That's north, south, east, and west. That same DDR book. These are actually rub-ons. Little stamp. And here we have a bunch of pieces from the ephemera kit. The words, some of these little rectangles, I just used them as pockets. We have another journal card from the ephemera kit. Excuse me. Like I said, a little journal card taggy thing from the ephemera kit. It's hard to do this upside down. Yeah. And then this is just a piece of scrapbook paper with some fabric washi tape. And one of the little tags from the kit. That's a little stamp. So this is actually one of the envelopes that I kept together and as an envelope, and just put one of the little cards inside there. And it's a little cloud paper clip that I got. And then this page, because of the way it was, I folded it, and then I didn't want to lose the words, but it was just too wide, so I just folded it over and used another piece of that fabric washi tape. And then here we got some scrapbook paper, a little stenciling, one of the postage stamps for one of those little rectangles. And then I used some off-cut leftover papers, and this is just a piece of ribbon that looks like a measuring tape. And some of the leftover papers just made into a little notebook. And again, one of the little rectangles for a pocket for one of the journaling cards and a tag. And then some paper, and this is a stamp that I stamped nice, just a little bit crooked, and added some little stars. Oops. And postage stamp. I really enjoyed doing the stenciling on this one. And then here's one of the design pages. I just put one of the text blocks, a little banner, and it's like a, I don't know what you call that. It's almost like a cabochon because you can put images on the back of it, but I just liked it like that. And then it's a nice little pocket for a tag. Sorry if that's blowing out. In order for it to not flicker, I have to really mess with the saturation. So like I said, this is one of the envelopes. And so you can see these are the score lines. I just took off the sides, and it would have folded like this and made a little envelope. And just added one of the circles from the kit and a little card. Some more stamping. And then one of the little envelopes is the other really long, tall tag. And then a couple of the little ones. And then just some trim. And then banner from the kit. And then I just mimicked the banner, did some stitching on it. And this is funny. This is Creative Memories. I believe I have had this card, oh boy, since the early 90s. Yeah, about then, early 90s. One of the journal cards. Those little quotes. It's more stenciling. And then this is a glassine bag that had little stars all over it. And so this is it's folded, so the opening is another part of the book. And so rather than, you know, put on a pocket or opening, you know, cut it to open it up, I just folded over the bottom and stapled it. Made a nice little tuck spot for one of the journaling cards. This is, I stamped this, so this is one of my stamps. And again, this is some washi tape, or actually that's a rub-on. And again, another image that I didn't want to lose. So I just folded it over. And so again, here with a DDR book. I'll pocket one of the rectangles for another of the little rectangle guys. And like I said, some of these might have come from the envelopes. A little tag and one of the tags from the kit. I just love the elephant. It has nothing to do with the Little Prince, but so cute. Some washi tape and another stamp. And the Creative Memories, they were attached, so peel, you know, what do you call it, serrated in parts. So this is the other half of that. Ooh, they're sold. I can't believe I've had those just sitting around not being used. Look at that dinky little pocket. Isn't that cute? For one of the little guys. I just think it's adorable. Another of the journal cards. And I think this definitely was from one of the envelopes. Use all your bits. That's what I say. Another stamp. And so this is the other side of the bag. And here I just have one of the journal cards. And then on the other side, put one of the quotes and another of my little punch from my play page. Is another envelope. I just loved them as pockets. And added a stamp and some stitching. And then made a little tag with one of the rectangles. This is another Creative Memories set of journal cards. It's like finally, after however many years, use up my journal cards. That's a rub-on quote. And then little star paper clip. This is the only, I used 3 envelopes. I won't pull that. This paper clip's a little finicky, but I put one of the little quote cards inside of the envelope. And then this is just a piece of paper, one of the little envelope, or sorry, keep wanting to call them envelopes, pockets from the kit. A little tag made, and then 2 of the tags from the kit. And this is another bag. So on this one, I have a little tag, and then another of the journal cards in the pocket. It's actually fabric washi. And then this is a little journal card I made, well, gigantic journal card. And this is actually a stencil, and you can either draw it, or like I said, you can use it as a stencil by rubbing over it. But I just followed it with my pen, and it's got little gaps between all these little pieces, so I just filled them in with these little. They're not sequins; it's more like 3-dimensional little guys. I don't know what you call those. Blanking. And just made a little belly band, some same paper, and added some stamps and a couple of the rectangles. Love them. Love the colors in this. Another envelope. And a tag that I made. That's a stamp from my kit, or from my set. Some washi. This is the other side of the bag. Just little border sticker, I think is what that is. There are the cards. And then this is one of the envelopes, the only other envelope that I used. But I glued it over the top so it doesn't come off, and added a little trim on the top there, and it makes a nice little tuck. And on the other side, I put a little eyelet, and there's a little tag. So to open up the envelope, you have to pull out the tag, and then he opens up. And so the leftover bits that I didn't use, the other little postage stamps, I put in here so that whoever uses the book can decorate as they want with the leftover bits. So there's some, I think there's maybe one quote left that I didn't use. So all the little bits are in there. And then the back cover. So that is the book. So I hope you enjoyed that. I really loved making this. Gorgeous, gorgeous papers. Real nice to work with. Everything's there, so you don't have to think too hard. Goes together real nicely. So definitely go check her out. I'll have a link down below. Yana's crafting and the Little Prince collection. So please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.